Hey there everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we're not talking about a movie star or a cricket player. No. We're talking about the biggest superstar of all. The original king of Indian roads. The Hindustan ambassador. Wow, what a car. It wasn't just a car, it was like a part of the family. From a baby's first ride home from the hospital to a politician's big entrance, the Ambi, as we lovingly called it, was everywhere. It showed you were important, it showed strength, and it was so big you could almost play cricket inside it. My own family had one, and I swear my uncle used to say it had more room than his first house. This car has seen everything. The good old days, the changing times, and all the stuff in between. It was the ride for regular people and the fancy car for powerful people. People still get a little teary-eyed just talking about it. You see one on the road today, and you can't help but smile, right? It's like seeing an old friend. This car has more stories than my Sidhu Paji has poems. It's a legend, and its history is something we Indians are super proud of. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of our history, a rolling book of our memories. So I thought, why not take a trip back in time? Let's look at this grand old car again. But not just the usual stories. No, that would be too easy. Today, I'm going to share 7 surprising, unbelievable, and super interesting facts about our favorite ambassador that will make you say, wow, I didn't know that. So, buckle up, grab your tea, and let's start this amazing trip. Get ready for the countdown. Can you imagine a day when the music just stops? That's exactly what happened in 2014. After ruling the roads for almost 57 years, Hindustan Motors just stopped. They stopped making the ambassador. It was like suddenly hearing that your favorite candy store was closing down forever. Your heart just sank, you know? The company said sales were going down, the design was old, and newer, fancier cars were taking over. It was a sad day, a real end of an era. The factory in Uttarpara, West Bengal, which had been making these beautiful cars since 1957, went quiet. It was a shock for everyone. Think about it. For many years, if you thought of a car, you thought of an ambassador. It was the default car in India. But times changed. People wanted smaller, faster, cars that used less gas. The Ambi, with its big size and old-fashioned charm, started looking like a grandpa at a dance party. Young people wanted something cool and shiny, and the ambassador, bless its heart, was anything but. It was dependable, it was strong, but it wasn't keeping up with the race. And so the production stopped, leaving a huge, ambassador-shaped hole in India's heart. If you've ever been to Kolkata, you know what I'm talking about. The city has 2 main colors, the white of the sweet treats and the yellow of the ambassador taxis. Oh, you can't separate the two. The ambassador became the official taxi of Kolkata, and it wasn't just a way to get around, it was what the city was known for. Seeing a line of those big, curvy yellow taxis waiting outside Howrah station is a sight to see. It's as famous as the Howrah Bridge itself. These taxis have been in so many movies, books, and shows about Kolkata that they've become famous around the world. The drivers loved it because it was tough, easy to fix, and could handle the city's busy streets like a pro. The passengers loved it for the space. You could fit your whole family, plus all your bags from a month-long trip, and there would still be room for the driver's thoughts on politics. For many, a trip to Kolkata wasn't complete without a ride in one of these yellow beauties. It was more than just a taxi ride. It was a special experience, a bumpy, noisy, and absolutely unforgettable journey through the heart of the city of joy. So, the production stopped, and the taxis are getting older. You might think the ambassador's story is over, right? Wrong. The king has found a new kingdom, the big, fat Indian wedding. Yes, the ambassador has become a superstar in the wedding business. People are now renting these old, beautiful cars, all decorated with flowers and ribbons, for their wedding parades. The groom arrives in a classic, shiny ambassador, and suddenly, the whole event feels more royal, more grand. It has a special charm that no modern fancy car can match. It's not just a car, it's a statement. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. The car has this timeless king-like look. It's big, it's grand, and it looks great in pictures. It brings a touch of old memories and old-world fancy style to the party. It's like having a piece of history as your wedding chariot. Young couples love it because it's special and cool in an old-fashioned way. And for the older generation, seeing an ambassador leading the wedding parade brings back so many memories. It's the perfect mix of past and present, a symbol of a journey that's just starting, riding in a car that has seen millions of journeys. Back in the day, gas was getting expensive, and people were, really worried. How will we travel? They asked. Then, just like a hero in a movie, the ambassador stepped in with a solution. In 1979, Hindustan Motors launched the Ambassador with a diesel engine. Wow, this was honestly a game changer. It became India's very first diesel car. Suddenly, driving a car became so much cheaper. It was a big change on 4 wheels. People who could only dream of owning a car could now actually afford to drive one. It completely changed things for middle-class families and, especially, for the transport business. This diesel engine was why the Ambassador became the main car for Indian tourism and city transport. The taxi drivers, the tour operators, they all swore by it. The diesel Ambi could go on and on without costing too much money. It was a workhorse, no doubt. It took families on religious trips, tourists to mountaintops, and office workers through city traffic, all with that special diesel engine rumble. It wasn't the quietest engine, mind you. You could hear an ambassador coming from the next street over, but that sound was the sound of progress, the sound of an affordable, moving India. Let me tell you a secret. Why did all the politicians and big government officers use the white ambassador? Was it for the style? The speed? No. It was for the seats. The ambassador had seats so big and comfortable, they were basically couches on wheels. You didn't sit in an ambassador, you sank into it. The legroom was huge. You could be the tallest person in India and still have space to stretch your legs. The back seat was like a private lounge. 3 people could sit comfortably without their elbows fighting for space. And the suspension? Oh, the suspension was amazing. Indian roads have always been, well, let's just say they have character. Potholes, bumps, you name it. But inside an ambassador, you felt like you were floating on a cloud. The soft suspension would just soak up everything. That's why it was the preferred car for important people who had to travel long distances on not-so-great roads. It was a palace on wheels, offering a level of ride comfort that modern cars, with their stiff sports suspensions, can only dream of. It was designed for Indian roads and Indian families, caring about comfort more than anything else. For a very long time, Hindustan Motors had everything. If you wanted to buy a car in India, you had 2 choices, the Ambassador or the Fiat. That's it. They had all the business. They were the undisputed kings. They were leading the way. But then, something happened. They got too comfortable. They were like that student in class who is very smart but stops studying because he thinks he knows everything. The Ambassador barely changed for decades. The design, the engine, the features, they all stayed pretty much the same. They thought, if it's working, don't change it. But then, in 1983, a new player entered the game, the Maruti 800. It was small, it was fast, it used less gas, and it was modern. Suddenly, the Indian buyer had a real choice. The Maruti 800 was like a fresh breeze, and people loved it. Hindustan Motors didn't react fast enough. They were still selling the same old car while the world was moving on. They were the ones who started the race, but by not changing and trying new things, they slowly but surely fell behind and ended up losing the race they once ruled. It's a classic story of a giant who failed to adapt. Now, for the final, most surprising fact. Are you ready for this? Our beloved local Indian legend was actually British. Yes, you heard me right. The Hindustan Ambassador was based on a British car called the Morris Oxford Series 3. Hindustan Motors bought the rights and the factory setup from the British company and started making it in India in 1957. It was like we adopted a child and raised it as our own, giving it an Indian name and an Indian identity. The basic shape and design were from the UK, but we made it truly ours. Over the years, Hindustan Motors made changes to it, making it fit for Indian conditions. They gave it stronger suspension for our roads, a bigger engine for our needs, and that unmistakable Indian feel. It's amazing, isn't it? A car that started its life in Oxford, England, became the ultimate symbol of Made in India. It shed its foreign skin and became an Indian hero. It's a beautiful story of changing, of how something can be taken from another culture and turned into something that shows your own nation's heart and soul. The Ambi may have had British roots, but its heart was, and always will be, 100% Indian. So there you have it. 7 things you might not have known about the grand old lady of Indian roads. What a journey it has been, right? The Ambassador is so much more than just a car. It's a time machine that takes us back to our childhoods, to simpler times. It's a symbol of lasting power, of family, and of a certain old world charm that we all miss. Even though they don't make them anymore, the Ambassador's engine might have stopped, but its history continues to run in the hearts and memories of millions of Indians. It's a story that will be told for generations. Now I want to hear from you. I'm sure every one of you has an Ambassador story. Maybe it was your family's first car, or a memorable road trip, or maybe a funny story about trying to fit 10 people into it for a wedding. Whatever it is, share it with us in the comments below. I would love to read your memories. Let's turn the comments section into a beautiful tribute to this famous car. Let's share the love and good memories. And of course, if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't be a stranger. Show some love by hitting that like button. It really helps, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more stories like this. We have many more trips back in time planned for you. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, take care and keep those wonderful memories alive.